welcome to Lovebug Tarot, and welcome back, all of my tarot goblins. So today we are doing our divination grid. If you're new here, I will kind of walk you through the process as we lay it out, and there's always timestamps below, so if you want to jump straight to the read or the affirmations, any of that, you can absolutely do so. So yeah, we're going to be looking for the week ahead, so we're just going to jump into it and get an affirmation card for this week. Ooh, all right. I'm going to put you over there. Okay. And I'm going to set aside our tarot deck for now. I'm going to set this one right up there, out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle this the fun way. I'm sure there's other ways to shuffle this, but this is the way I do it. So if you are new and you've never seen this deck before, this is a Russian divination deck, and it's laid out in a big grid, which is why the camera is so far back, because I have to get everything in the frame. So we will do our best. But there are 4 pictures for half of a picture on each card, and it's kind of like playing a match game in a bit. You match the pictures as they match up. And I also use, oh, I forgot to say this, I also use different kinds of runes. We have Celtic and Nordic runes as well to kind of help us read, and also, hey, mark. I just mark the pictures as they come up. I don't know why, the cards are kind of being very energetic, so this could get this could be an interesting read. We've had some big ones previously. Sometimes the grid reads can go for quite some time because you use the entire deck, so a lot of messages can come through. It really depends. All right, so the week ahead, as you can see, this first card, you've got 4 different ones, and depending on, make sure this is in the frame in the corner, little cornerstone here. There we go. Depending on how they line up, and then what direction they're facing, gives them a different meaning. So it's a very interesting deck. I try to match as I go. I always give myself a little extra time at the end to stare deeply into the grid and see if any other pictures match up. And I always cut that out, but it's also been in the past where I've been in the middle of a read, we've already done everything, and I spot a picture that matches up. So it happens. Let's see. Nope. Make sure we're still in frame. Ooh, all right, we got the castle in its first position. There are 4 different positions. And once we lay the grid out, ooh, just one. We got the Celtic rune for death cycles and rebirth. Ooh, okay. The castle is interesting because it's about, each picture has a general meaning, and depending on how it's oriented, changes its meaning. In its upright, I'll have to double check the book because, again, there's 50 cards and 4 different meanings for each card, and I'll let you do the math. But the general meaning for this is like security, and so it's interesting you got cycles coming out there. I know I should probably wait until the end to start reading, but sometimes things just pop through of like, ooh, something says, hey, pay attention to this. And so I do my best. That's all we can do. Ooh, we got mice. Okay. Whoop. All right. Kanaz. The rune of illumination. Okay. The mice picture is interesting because it can deal about the general meaning is like the loss or even the theft of like a physical item. With Kanaz here, I'm wondering if something is going to be returned to you or you find something. Oh, we got the letter. A lot of messages coming through. Okay. There's a lot coming through. Okay, anything else? Sometimes you get 2 or 3 that'll line up, and then it gets interesting to try to like, so I like to use the runes. Ooh, all right. Got the Celtic rune for strength and endurance. Alright, it's definitely some news coming in, and it's a letter too. I wonder if it's some kind of official mail or... I'm just throwing stuff out there. Really just filling the void of silence. Awkward silence. As it does. Let's see. We have the fishy. We got a crawdad. The home. Nope. Nope, don't see anything there. Nope, you're over there. Let's see. Rooster boy. Bread. Nope. Nope, that one's split. I keep looking back at the top ones too to be like, oh shoot, did I miss anything? It happens. We're still in frame, we're still in frame. Yes. Okay. Nope. Nothing on that one. Oh, nope, that is firewood. It is not the fire, just the firewood. Ooh, nope. Ah, so close. Yet so far. No. Nope. Nope. Nope, that one's also split. Interesting. Sometimes it's fascinating how these pictures end up splitting apart. Being so close. Maybe that's something coming through, that something is... There's something on the verge of changing. It's like you're so close. Some of these pictures are just like one card off from matching up. Ooh, and the book. Lots of news. You have the letter and the book. Both of these are news in different ways. Different means. Oh, wow, you got 3. Okay. All right, all Celtic runes. Let's see. Ah, come here. Interesting. Okay, so persuasion, communication, which again, we have the news, the book and the letter. Transformation, power, and wisdom. Okay. Put that right there. Ooh. All right, so in this case, because the snake would line up in this direction, like if they both turned to face each other, they would be in this 4th position facing upside down. So I'm going to mark the 1. A lot of Celtic runes. Okay. Beginnings and epiphanies. Okay. Nope. Let's see. Nope. Move my little marker out of the way. I'll put the stones here in the corners so I know I'm hopefully don't go out of the screen. Okay. I don't see anything. Okay, I'm going to take a second and stare deeply into see if I can find any other pictures. And I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Oh, and I forgot the last card here. When laying out the grid, you always read all 4 pictures in their upright position. So we do need another Celtic. Wow, a lot of Celtic runes. Ooh, peace and support. Freaking love that. Okay. Nice. All right. So we are going to dive into our read, and we have our affirmation card here. And it says, why not you? Ooh. Okay. Okay. Something's coming in. Something's coming in. And I get the feeling of the why not you. It's something that maybe is a wish, like a wish fulfillment or like a dream. Something very close and personal to you. Okay. So we're going to get our book and I'm going to get into here. And grab. Get our cards ready. Okay, let's see. 19. Number 19 is the castle. So there's always a general meaning, and then depending on how the picture is oriented, it changes the meaning. And there are more challenging aspects of the picture, and there are gentler aspects of the picture. It just depends on which direction it's facing, unless it's, again, the last card. That one's all in the upright. Okay, so the castle, as I said, was the general symbol for security. And I'm going to do my best to translate this. Again, the book is it's very flowery in its language. So it says, fulfillment of hopes, although at the end of your life, which sounds, I don't know, I just never liked the way that was particularly phrased. I get the sense here with the castle, like, castles can't be built overnight. I mean, maybe in some fantasy land they are, but I think of, like, cathedrals and actual castles and forts and fortresses. They're not built overnight. They're built over time. And it's interesting you have the death and cycles rebirth rune here as well. I get the sense that something like a cycle is ending and a new cycle is starting and it's building up. And it's a new cycle that's going to be much more stable. Maybe it's physical security and like your location or your housing situation, or even financial security as well. Like something that, you know, you are ending one chapter and you are moving into something new. You're moving into something, and it's the castle too, so it's a long term. This is something that is going to build, and it's going to build over time. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. All right. Anyways. All right, let's get some clarifiers. If the deck... Oh my god. My hands were really dry. I'm in the northern hemisphere, and so winter is coming. Winter is showing. So I put some lotion on my hands because they were very dry, and I will say that makes handling the cards a little challenging sometimes. Ooh, 4 of Cups. Okay. This may not be something you were expecting. A Knight of Pentacles. Something maybe you've been building up over time, and because it's been taking its time, or, oh wow, all right, that's it, I'm cutting you off. Because it's been taking its time, it may be something that it's just been routine. Maybe you've been applying for something, or even like putting stuff in savings, or maybe you're playing like the stock market. Stock market? That's, I thought I said sock market. Good lord. Maybe you are. Maybe you're into socks. I don't know. But something is building over time, and the Knight of Pentacles is a very slow and steady knight. It is the slowest of the knights, but it's the most grounded and steady of them as well. And death and rebirth. Again, with death, rebirth, and cycles, something is starting up. Maybe you're taking on a new venture, like an opportunity, something that kind of restarts, resets. Something has to, quote, you know, metaphorically die in order for something else to be rebirthed or reborn in a way. And it may be something you don't see coming. The Star. Ooh. Yeah, this could be something of a wish fulfillment. The Star. Something that you've been wishing for. You've held on through faith and hope and, you know, prayers alone, however, you know, that resonates with you. And again, prayers can be meditations, affirmations. It's all about the intentions that you've been putting out into the universe. 2 of Pentacles. Something, again, Pentacles. Your physical means. Where does this want to go? There. It's going to bring a new sense of balance to you. And I get with she's swinging, this picture shows this person kind of swinging these 2 objects around. Something is changing. Something is turning. Almost like, a little bit like the Wheel of Fortune in a way. And the King of Swords. Something you're taking action on. When it comes, you're taking action on it. And it's a king as well. Yeah, that is very interesting. So this could be an interesting week for you. There could be an end of something and then the beginning of something else, particularly in your career, your finances, your home. You know, it again, it's not something overnight. The King of Swords is one of action. It's very swift moving, but it sees, because we have the owl and it is a swords, it's something that you have a long-term plan. You're seeing into the future, and this is maybe something that you've been planning for yourself, you've been trying to manifest and bring in. And it's like when the opportunity comes, you're like, I know exactly what to do with this. You know, it comes in and you're just like, okay, I got this. Even if you're not expecting it, in a kind of like, you're like, whoa, okay. And it could come in a form you weren't expecting as well. So definitely be open to that. Be open to different possibilities coming in. Ooh, that's exciting. All right, 23, the mice. Let's see. All the way back to the book to come all the way to the front. Interesting. Okay. So the mice is a challenging picture because its general meaning is the loss or finding of a material article. However, in its fourth position, when it's upside down like this, whatever has been taken or lost is gone. It's unrecoverable in this aspect. But we also have kanaz, which is the symbol for like the torch. It's a symbol for insight. I think of like a light in the dark, almost like, I don't know, like the image of the hermit where, you know, someone's holding a little lantern and it's very dark. There's some kind of insight into that. And it could be that you have this wisdom from the things you have lost. You can't get them back, but you've gained this wisdom of like, you're much more discerning now. You've learned from, hi, ma'am. Could we not? For one read, could we not? You did this last time too. I guess confirmation in a way. Yeah, so it's like what has been lost cannot be recovered, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's almost like you can now start over. You can have a fresh start. You can build from the ground up. Ma'am, you were just here. Sweetheart, can thank you for putting your tail in my face, ma'am. Come here. Oh my goodness. No, sorry, you gotta get down. I know. I'm the worst. What? I'm the worst, I know. I'm so sorry. All right, so this one came out of the bottom. We have, ooh, the Page of Cups. Something that's lost. Yep, come here. All right, so the Page of Cups. Eight of Swords. You've gained something. Even though you've lost something, you've gained an insight. Eight of Swords here, this image in particular, has like the person kind of almost, I want to say like tied up in their head. Just their thoughts, like your thoughts running rampant and kind of keeping you enclosed, keeping you away from something even. And this could have been, you know, a struggle with self-confidence, self-image, you know, the brain goblins that, you know, those negative thoughts that we have. But you've done some work on yourself. The Page of Cups here. We have the little pig flying in the corner. This little pig in the corner. Yeah, I just get the sense you've worked on yourself. I know this is supposed to be like a physical, and it could be that it was through a physical loss. Whether that was displacement from, you know, where you were living, financial loss. Maybe it was a theft of a material item or even items, but from that, yeah, you've gained so much grace and wisdom because of those trials. Yeah, trials. I think it was more than one. Yeah, you have come out much more steady from this. And I am so sorry you had to go through that. Whatever, I mean, it's different for everybody. Everybody has their own lived experience. And it sucks. Not going to sugarcoat it. It's not fun. It's not nice. It's uncomfortable. But from that, you have come out a much more strong and capable person, I would say. From that, you've gained a lot of wisdom, both about the world around you, but also internally as well. I know the mice is supposed to be like a physical item, and it could be, you know, maybe it's, again, if it was like you invested in something, again, I'm pulling an example out of nothing. If you invested in something, or you were playing the stock market, and the first round you maybe lost, you had a big loss. You know, you put in a bunch of savings and it was all gone. Well, the second time around, maybe you've taken a step back and you've done some courses, you know, you've really analyzed like how to play the market, and, you know, you've done the research about how it's been changing. Like, you're much more prepared going forward. Again, example, just very much an example in that particular case. So take that as you will. Ma'am, please don't. She's circling. I know, ma'am. Sweetheart. Goodness. Well, she's very invested. No, I see peace and support. Yes. No, don't chew it. No, ma'am. No, we don't eat it. We don't eat the runes. Okay. Cat was trying to eat the runes. Good Lord. I never thought that was a sentence I would say. Don't eat the runes, but here we are. She's very invested in your read. So that could be saying something. We'll keep that in mind when we read the last card. All right, so we do have number 27, the letter. Okay, so the letter, its general meaning is news from a distance. In its third position, it says, you will hear a long-awaited word. Again, very flowery in the book. But again, a long-awaited word to me means something, and we have the rune here for strength and endurance, something you've been waiting on. Could be a job application, or maybe a passport even. Like, those things take for freaking ever. You know, or you've put in for a loan, or you've even, yeah, like an application. It's like you're getting, and it's an official, I feel it's like in a very official document, because we have a letter. It's not an email, it's not a text, it's a letter. So it's something, you know, you have a physical copy of in some means. And it's something you've been really waiting for. And I feel like strength and endurance, like this is something long awaited. Maybe it's like a contract. Yeah, something in an official capacity. So let's get some cards. Can we get some clarifiers, please, for this? Ooh, the Three of Wands. Something in a creative capacity. Or it's something not necessarily even creative, but something that kind of like lights you up. Again, going back to the why not you. If it's something you've been wishing for, again, that star, something you've been really, really waiting out. You've been holding out almost for. Like, this has got to work. This has got to work going forward. And it is. You're getting that answer. Ooh. something that was very competitive too. Like, maybe that's why the affirmation card is saying, like, why not you? Is because maybe it was really competitive. Maybe it was a scholarship. Like, scholarships are hella competitive. Yeah, like a scholarship or, ma'am. Oh, God. Sweetheart, you can't do this. Hi. Yeah, no, don't eat the mic. Gotta be right back. Okay, we're back. I had to put her in another room because I'm like, I love my cat, but she can make things very difficult sometimes. Yeah. Well, either way, we'll say your reading is very, very blessed because she's very invested in it. All right, so where were we? The letter. So we have, ooh! You have the Tower with the Ten of Cups. Again, death and rebirth. This is something that's been like a long-awaited news. And when it comes in, it's like one of those things that's like you've been waiting for so long. Again, the Four of Cups. Almost focusing on everything else, just waiting. I just get this long sense of waiting. But when it does come, it's like lightning out of a clear sky. It's just serendipitous almost in its energy. That's okay. I'm excited for you. That's very exciting. And maybe I'm sure like you know what this is. And if this is not resonating at all, you're just like, this may not be the read for you, but I have a feeling that if you know what this is, this opportunity or this confirmation you've been waiting on in a very official capacity too. Yeah, something big is coming in, especially with the Tower here and death and rebirth. And the star, which is right next to our stars here. Even though they didn't line up, that's interesting that these two just happened to land right next to each other. So it's interesting that this is all at the top. And then we have the two down here with our last card. So the front of the week could be very heavy. Not necessarily like heavy in energy, but just there could be a lot going on. Especially if there's news coming in. And we have, again, we have the book down here as well. So if there's news coming in, there could be actions that need to be taken. So let's get some more information. So we have book 26. Oh, that is actually the one right before it. Nice. That's interesting. The letter here. Flip over the book. So, oh, okay. Something with the letter is like because the book, its general meaning is secret news. So this could be something, even if it's a contract, there could be like an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement attached to it where it's like you're negotiating something, but you're not, it's something very on the down low, if you will. Like it may not be something you can publicly talk about yet. Persuasion and communication, transformation, power, and wisdom were the 3 runes you got here as well. There could be, you need to respond, and it could be one of those, maybe it's an offer even. Wow, okay, maybe it's even an offer. Not necessarily even a confirmation, but like an offer, an opportunity, and you could take a day, maybe a day or two in the middle of the week to kind of get your bearings and then get back to them or the situation, whatever it is. Again, transformation, power, wisdom. The wisdom here, again, we had Kanaz with the mice. You're in a much better place to negotiate if it is something like a contract. Yeah, you have that wisdom to like know what you want, know what you're worth moving forward. persuasion and communication, there could be a little give and take in there as well. Like something you need to communicate, they need to persuade you, you need to persuade. Like there's a little bit of this push-pull, give-take. King of Swords up here with this big, cycles, like something big starting, something ending, so something can start. The King of Swords is an air energy. So walking into this, it could be you need to be very decisive, very discerning. And again, you have the King and the Emperor kind of in this similar stance, if you will, sitting position where it's you can come with your needs and your wants just right out of the bat. Like, this is what I want, this is what I'm worth, this is what I need to make this happen. Transformation power, again with the Tower here. Very strong transformative energies. All right, so can we get some clarifiers or some more details? The Ten of Swords, yeah. And it could be that... come here. I flipped over. We were talking earlier about the death cycles, rebirth. This could be the realization that you may have to walk away from something. Because a cycle ends means that you may need to walk away from something else to go forward. Seven of Wands. And you're going to need to set very firm boundaries. Very firm boundaries. And I think that also comes into play with the persuasion and communication, that wisdom that you have. Again, the Emperor here with the Mars. I think that's the planet Mars. And then we also have the bubble here, those boundaries. Very clear, very precise about what you need. The Chariot, ooh. Seven of Wands and the 7 with the Chariot, 7-7. I want to say it's luck, but again, it's something you've been working towards. It could just be like it's timing. And we were talking about like with the Tower, it's been like waiting, and then suddenly it comes and it's like you hit the ground running. Okay, so 5 of Pentacles. And the 4 of Wands. Yeah, there's this big shift of going from an energy of lack, let's go this way, into one of absolute celebration. Celebrating what you've accomplished and what you have done to move things forward. Because I don't feel like this is something that's just like falling into your lap. Maybe the opportunity is like divine timing, but you were ready. You were ready to go. So, if it's a job opportunity, you've got your resume. You're like, I got it. I have my resume, my cover letter, like, boom, you can turn around and make it happen. You didn't really have to scramble to get things together. Like, you were just like, no, I've been waiting for this opportunity. I am here. Let's do it. So there's this big energy from lack to celebration. So the Snake is going to be interesting. Let's see. Snake is more of one of the challenging. Ooh, okay. It's a challenging picture because it does depict a snake. And its general meaning is an attack. Typically a verbal attack. In its upright, it's 4th position. That's right, because that card would turn in. Okay, so in its 4th position, it symbolizes bitter jealousy. And it's interesting because we have the rune here for beginnings and epiphanies. And I'm wondering if, as this shift happens, maybe there is someone around you who lets their bitterness show. Eight of Pentacles. Maybe it could be that they don't see all the work that you've put in. They don't see the hard work that you have put in to master, what you've been moving towards. 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. Very sequential. Something about your independence is And again, this says more about them than it does you. It could be that they're projecting their own insecurities, their own wants and desires, and instead of taking that, jealousy, which is a very natural emotion, I feel, but instead of taking that and saying, I want that too, like, I want that as well, and then making steps to move towards that goal, being like, I want that as well. Okay, what can I do to get there? And then taking those steps. It's more of that, the bitter jealousy that just keeps them, well, it's like, well, I want that. Not I want that as well, but I want it. And it's that weird, I don't know, it's like that weird juxtaposition where it's like they want it, but they're not making moves towards it. Ooh, okay. 2 of Wands and 9 of Swords. It could be because you're moving on from something. And it's interesting, we have the 9 of Swords with all of these, again, the birds here. And you have the 8 of Swords up here with all the birds going around that person's head. But the difference is in the 8 of Swords up here with Kanaz as well, you did the inner work. You overcame your own insecurities and your own doubts, and you've worked with yourself to have the tools to work with those things. Because I can only speak from experience, but a lot of times, especially things like self-doubt, imposter syndrome, all of those things that can keep us from pursuing our dreams, I don't know if they ever really go away. It's more of we gain tools in order to manage them. I call them my brain goblins. And sometimes I take my brain goblins, I give them a hug, and I say, thank you so much for, helping me in the past, but it is not necessary right now. And I give them a fruit snack, and I put them in timeout. Like, I just go through that silly little process in my head. And for some reason, it is helpful. But and in all seriousness, it could be that they still have their own work to do internally. And because you're moving forward and maybe you're moving out, you're moving away, that's something that they can't reconcile with. But honestly, again, that's on them. You're not in charge of other people's choices. Okay? All right, so let's get the last card. I'm going to pull it out here and just so you can see it a little better. There we go. Okay. So we have the ring, the anchor, the scythe, and the birds with peace and support, which my cat was trying to eat. So there's definitely going to be, going forward, I think, a profound sense of peace. We were talking about boundaries earlier here with the 7 of Wands. Like, you set up very firm boundaries, and that is to keep your peace. And going forward, despite this happening, perhaps with this person associated with the snake, or people or situation associated with the snake, you have the support, both, I feel, physically and through your ancestors, through your guides, through your angels, like whoever or whatever you kind of vibe with. They have your back. They definitely have your back. Okay, we're going to do one at a time. So 25 is the ring. Okay, the ring is interesting because its general meaning is the relationship between two people. And it can, and we always read the last card, all the pictures in its their first positions. In the first position, it's about a wedding or an agreement, which is very interesting. So a wedding or an agreement, and again, we were talking about like news here, we were talking about contracts, and it could be that there is a merging of two entities between perhaps yourself and a company, or yourself and another person, a collaboration in that capacity. For some of you, it could be in a relationship, like a an intimate relationship, but I'm not necessarily getting that. But perhaps for some people, I'm getting the ring as more talking about the merging of like two entities coming together. And that could be, again, yourself and another person or people in a collaboration, yourself and a company, something along those lines. All right, so let's get, should have done this at the beginning. Let's get a card for each. Ooh, Ace of Wands. That's lovely. Because, yeah, this merging, this relationship that's forming between you and this other entity is something that really ignites your soul. You're very passionate about it. The Ace of Wands. All right, we're just gonna, ooh, okay. The 6th area, all right. I love it. All right, so with 35, we have 25, 35, we have the Anchor. So the Anchor is about stability or hindrance. However, in its first position, it says success and love, and you are loved. And so it's, which again, we have the Anchor, something very grounding, something solid. If you felt like you've been afloat, again, I'm looking at the castle we were talking about. It's that long-term security, starting to build something very solid and supportive to you. With the Page of Pentacles as well. It's not the King of Pentacles, but it is the Page. So it's a starting to build something solid and tangible in the real world. And it's through the things that you love. And I have a feeling that these things, whether they're people or a circumstance or a job, it's something that you love and also that is reciprocated to you. You know, so let's say you're a painter and, you know, you get picked up, again, I'm using just an analogy, a metaphor. You get picked up to do a gallery show. You know, that's a big opportunity. And you put all this love into the work you produce, and by putting it out there in the gallery at the, let's say, this big show, that love is returned to you. You know, there's something very reciprocal about that. So 10 is the Scythe. And with the 6 of Wands, again, speaking of juxtapositions. Oh, okay. So this, again, is a very flowery language sometimes. So the symbol for the scythe in the book, it says, fate is upsetting your life because evil fate pursues you. And anyways, we're going to translate that. It's, I don't want to say like fate upsetting your life, but like things that are outside of your control. Things that you have no control over. Getting in the way. Upsetting things. Turning it topsy-turvy. With the evil fate pursues you, I feel like it's things left undone from your past. I don't think an evil fate is pursuing you. That, again, sounds so dramatic. Especially with the 6 of Wands, and we have peace and support. I get the sense that things from the past it's not necessarily that they go away, but they don't bother you anymore. Again, we have the 6 of Wands. You're on stage. You're being celebrated. You know, this is love and peace and support. And it's one of those things the idea of like stepping into the spotlight and you're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm not perfect. I have, you know, shadows of my past. I've got, you know, unfinished business. Sure. But you know what? I'm going to move forward with confidence and with love. I don't know, maybe someone need to hear that. But yeah, with the scythe, I feel like it's not that it, you know, things go away or vanish into the ether. It's more of you're moving forward with confidence, with boundaries, and with a sense of peace as well. So 12. Right. Oop, we're at 10. So we just need to pop over a couple pages. And the birds, general meaning is freedom from responsibilities. And in its upright, its first position is joy and merriment. And freedom from responsibilities, I see the Hierophant. With this figure, just laughing, just joy, merriment. It's you are enjoying the journey. I don't get a sense that it's like you've dropped responsibilities, but there's more of a balance with it now. You see the steps before you, and it's more of like, okay, that's fine. I am the stair master. I'm gonna conquer those stairs. You know, it's no long it's not a chore, it's not daunting. You're just like, okay, let's do this. And that in itself, I think, brings a sense of freedom as well. Ooh, and the Knight of Cups. Yeah, this is something. We have the Page of Cups up here. Interesting. Okay, so the Page of Cups, we were talking about the loss, like losing something, and that could have been something you loved. You know, the Page of Cups, it's like you started out very, very bright-eyed and just like, no, I'm gonna make this work. And then things, you know, maybe things fell apart. And there was a loss. It could have been a physical loss, emotional. I know the mice is supposed to be very, like, in a physical sense. And maybe some of it was. I feel like overall, the cards, the message coming through is with the Knight of Cups at the end, at the bottom of the deck, is that going forward, you have a much, I don't want to say like rose-colored, like those, what is the phrase? Like rose-tinted glasses, like looking at life. You're not naive, and you're not brushing away the difficulties of life. But your mindset has changed about like how you tackle, you know, the steps going forward. You see the journey now more with maybe a romantic lens. You know, you're kind of romancing your life. You're romancing yourself. And it's like, you know what? You're falling in love with the process of what you're doing moving forward. Which is awesome. That is an awesome energy and mindset to inhabit. Absolutely. And I just, again, coming back to this, why not you? Why not? I love that. Okay. So that is your read. That is your read for the week ahead. Some big things going down. Sending you so much love and many, many hugs. You've got this. Yeah, this is something you've been working towards. So I feel like the phrase "a long time coming" is popping into my head. All right, so if you vibed with this, or if you just like the general vibes, please like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. We do have a membership over with Buy Me a Coffee for $5 a month, and we post there 3 times a week. We do deck reviews, we do mini reads, we do all kinds of stuff over there. So it's another great way to support the channel, or even just watching. That is so helpful as well. All right, so thank you so much, and until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, and I love you, all right? So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.